Good evening. Well, it was Doncaster Day today at Randwick, and it was around about I suppose around about 3 o'clock this morning, 2:30ish. The rain started to come down in Sydney town, and of course we had very heavy showers all morning. By the time they started the first race, they said it was a heavy 8. Of course, look, it might have been a heavy 8. It was a heavy track. Everyone said it was a lot heavier than that, and we did have some really heavy showers before the first and during some races. But then the sun actually came out at one stage, and then it became overcast again by the time of the last race. And the wind was very strong, a southwesterly, early in the day with them straight up the straight, but then it swung around a little bit, so it was a bit more southwesterly, and the rail was 3 metres out, and it's just like magic. It was just like magic. The track all of a sudden turned around after the rain went. It was when we got to race 7 with 3 races to go, races 7, 8, and 9. Of course, Royalty said you'll never see an easier win. The official margin was 10 lengths. Well, ridden by Nash, it was back running about midfield on towards the fence, and they got off a little bit. Of course, they were off the fence coming to the turn, but Nash just got up on the inside of them, still a few off the fence, and it just got up, and as I say, the inside of them, and went away and won as it liked. And then, of course, we got to race 8, the Doncaster, and what happened in the Doncaster? Well, of course, Piero was always going to be the favourite, was always going to be near the fence, which it was, in about 6th position on the fence, and then got up inside runners turning for home. But who never left the 18 pence, coming from fairly well back in the field after copping a bit of a check at the start and getting a bit tightened up, was Sacred Falls. And Sacred Falls never went around a runner. It went right along the fence and nosed out. It got beat to be about a head, a neck on the line, got it getting up inside Piero, and the other 3-year-old, what's it called, Norzita, who raced up handy. They were going to ride it back, but it raced up handy outside the leader. It held on for third. There were 3 3-year-olds in the race, 2 colts and the filly, and the 3 3-year-olds ran the trifecta. And of course, then the last race came along, and again, just like magic, as I say, in these last 3 races, the fence was the place to be. I suppose the wind had stopped raining. The wind had got maybe the surface water off the grass, and the other outside section where they'd been racing might have been a bit chopped up, and they hadn't been near the fence. And it was a new section. What do you put it down to? Maybe that. And it led on the fence in the last race. Merlin Mustang ran a mighty race. It finished up running third. Right behind it on the fence all the way was Under the Sun, who went around it and finished up running second. But getting along the fence, 4 back on the fence, never leaving it, was the Avery, Keith's Legacy. And well, I thought it would win a bit easier than it did, but it, as I say, it got inside the leader, Merlin Mustang, where the winner went around it. The second horse went around it, and Keith's Legacy, the favourite, it won by about a head to a neck margin on the line, and the fence turned out to be the place to help you win in those last 3 races. Just like magic, the track turned around. But in these earlier races, with all the rain about, race 1, French Gift, it's well, in this first race on the screen, it was Doncaster Day, big crowd, and we still offer in some races, bad losing figures. In the first race, they set 104.3 in the screen. Well, there was about an even 100 in the marketplace. Studio, of course, one runner I can see straight away. Well, it was $6.50 given about Studio, and a few others. There was a 4% difference in what you could have got and what was actually on the screen. And French Gift, who only knows one thing, and that's just to pug along, and it more or less outstayed them, and also handles the going. And it was well backed, $21 into $14 French Gift. And if you run into the $21 and then the 20 and the 19, if you're booking on the race, you could have very easily have lost, because there were some runners in this race that didn't have names. There were only a few runners that were backed. Studio was very hard to lay. It was, as I say, $6.50 given. Started $6 on my board. Victoria was number 2 was hard to lay, $7.50 out to $10, and Kua Clay and the stablemate to the Studio, $7.50 out to $9.50, and so forth and so forth. Saintly Sun was well backed, $7.50 into $6, and the winner, as I say, it was $21 into $14. Very well found. Down the outside, that no one tested the fence at that stage. The second race, well, this was won by the favourite Average. Like a fool, I gave $2.40 about this runner, and there were 8 runners, and it had the outside alley. It jumped out with them, stayed up near the lead, but then eased in the early stages, then eased in behind the pace and hooked out widest in the straight, and it raced up to the leader, the visitor from Queensland, Little Miss Smiley, who drew barrier 1 that was off the fence coming to the turn, and it fought on very well to only go down by half a length, and coming more or less off the favourite's back was Major Conquest, who was extremely easy in the market. We put them up $2.30 Average and $2.80 Major Conquest. As I say, I gave $2.40 like an idiot. The winner, starting only $2.10, and Major Conquest, well, it was $4.40 or even $4.60 when they jumped, 7-4 to 7-2. Very easy in the market. The other firmer in the race was Sunshine Royale, who apparently didn't handle the going, and it was after as much as $8 given, only started about a $5.50 chance. Now on the screen in this race, they said there was only 99.7 under the 100 on the screen, and about 4 less in the marketplace, about 95. And the favourite $2.40, and also Sunshine Royale $8. So you can see a couple of percentage points less straight away there. And as I say, it got to the outside, and it looked the winner at the furlong, and it held on to win, but only by a half a length. The next race, well, this winner wasn't Nifty Neville Voigt, trained his first city winner for a while, Rio Seto. It came from third last, ridden by Catwalk Corey Brown, and it was well backed. It opened up $31, and it only started 21. It was 31 into 21, and it led Hydro, and ridden by Nash. It's going for a spell now. He said it was galloped on, and it went too hard on him in the lead. It got beat a long way. Got beat 34 lengths or whatever. But he did stay close up against the fence, and everybody said, well, that's not the place to be. But it did pull on him, and he got along fairly quickly in the lead. But as I say, the winner, it came from about third or fourth last position, coming wide in the straight. This horse won by 4.8 lengths. It ran right away with it. Fuerza, who settled down, the top weight, who settled down in last position, it tried to get on its back, and it came wide in the straight. But for a couple of strides, it looked like it was going to. It might have ran up to the winner, but the winner was far too strong. As I say, went away and won by 4.8 lengths. So I suppose it got the track bias in its favour at that stage. There was still plenty of rain about. Right on cue, who drew barrier 1, well, it finished second last, and it was always back on the inside trying to look for runs and so forth, and it was a bit disappointing. What else would you say in that race? That was about all. The winner was a strong run, but maybe got in the right section. A strong win, but got into the right section of the track. Well, the next runner, even though the next winner, even though it finished widest in the straight, it wasn't going to finish widest, except that it hung out very badly in the last 50 or 75 metres or so. It ducked out badly. The rider saying that it was the first time going in that direction, clockwise, and that was one of the reasons why it ducked out on him. Platinum Kingdom, I'm talking about, coming from New Zealand. And it was very well backed in this race. Well, there's a big discrepancy here. They said there was 101 on the screen. I thought there was only about 93% given here. These were the flux or the top odds. Platinum Kingdom, plenty of $14. Now, Heart Tester, they returned at $5, 4 to 1. You could get, Glenn, you could get $6 when they jumped about Heart Tester. There was plenty of $6. Eximus, well, there was it started $7. A little bit hard to get $6.50 maybe. Limes, they bet $6. They only started $4.80. Casual Choice, it was $5. Casual Choice. Maximilian, $7 given. Only started $6. It was a late scratching Rock Magic. Air Striker, well, it was 31, and it was 101 and 201. 201 Thunder Row. Bad losing figures. And the winner, excuse me, was $14 into $12, fairly hard to get. It sat in behind the pace, and it put in a strong run after topping the rise, getting through, getting to the lead. Hard Tester led, and it was well off the fence coming to the turn, rolled up the rise, and when they topped the rise was, I'd say, most probably 3 lengths clear. It did look like it was going to hold on, but then the 1,400 metre journey started to test it out. It finished up running 4th, beaten 3 lengths, and the winner was able to get up inside it, and coming down the outside was the second horse, Casual Choice, from second last position, and it did finish inside the winner, as I say, but the winner did duck out very badly. That's the reason it finished out there. Race 5, they said, well, another bad race. On the screen there was losing figures, 99.6, only about 4 less in the marketplace, about 90, about 95, and the favourite in this race, Snitsky, there was as much as $6 given, $5.50 the best luck. It only started $3.60, and it was a bet. If you went off the top odds, Snitsky, it was hard to work on this race. Who won this race? Eminent Domain, the winner from the winner at its last start at Randwick, when it was very well backed that day. Interestingly, Danny Williams, he had 2 other runners in this race. He accepted with 3 of them, War Charm, Deceiver, and Eminent Domain. He scratched the other pair, War Charm and Deceiver, which left him with Eminent Domain, ridden by Tommy Terrific Berry, and it settled down in second last position, off the pace. At this time of day, the right, exact right position to be in the way the track was playing. Up front was Harara running along as predicted. You can be up inside it, and on the outside of it, the well backed and starting favourite Snitsky. And when they topped the rise, and even when they got down to the furlong pole, there were 3 or 4, 5 runners in line, and you really couldn't find the winner at that stage. they were chopping and changing, but then all of a sudden Eminent Domain had loomed up, and you could see in the last 100 metres or so that it was the widest runner, and it was going to win, and it did, and went away and won by a length. It opened up, bookies reached for it very quickly, and I followed. Don't know why. $8.50, 15 to 2 chance it opened up, but got out to as much as $16 this runner, Eminent Domain, but it only started $13. Very well backed in the last. It was the last one that was backed in the betting. It turned up very, very late, from about $15. All the 15, the 14, and $13 even started to disappear. Very well backed in a. And as I say, bookies gave in this race 5-1 the field at one stage. Snitsky starting the $3.60 favourite. Then we got to race 6, and still the track was playing down the outside at this stage. And who won this race? Collini, and as much as plenty of $6 given about Collini. I had a bad result in this race, betting laying it no better than $5.50. Plenty of 6 started, but it firmed late. All the $5.50 disappeared, and even that $5 was starting to disappear. It settled. It was ridden by Nash. It settled well back in the field, and when they turned for home, you could see even coming down the side, up front, leading in the race was Fib Relation, who finished up running a great race. It ran second Fib Relation, and it's a noted wet tracker, and on its inside was Mauls Creek, who finished up holding on and running fourth, and it was close to the fence. So this was a little bit of a guide all of a sudden that the fence mightn't have been, or the way it had stopped raining and the fence was starting to maybe the place to be, because Mauls Creek, as I say, it kept on trying to punch up in the inside of Fib Relation, and it only got beat about 1.6 lengths. But when they turned for home, you could see Nash, after sitting well back in the field, he cruised up behind them, and he waited until he topped the rise, more or less, before he was just easing off heels, having plenty of horse underneath him. And when he did pull out widest, he finished far too strong, and he won by 1.3 lengths, beating, as I say, the leader, Fib Relation, who ran a mighty race, and coming from back in the field, Pirate Bay, who took off before Nash, going up to the leaders towards when they had got to the turn. It held on for third, and the horse closest to the rail, and up near the lead, inside the lead of Fib Relation, what's his name, Mauls Creek, who they said they were going to ride closer today, and they did. It stuck on for fourth. And what else do you say about that race? It was a bit hard to lay Hoi Lonnie. It was $4.20 or $4.40 out to $6.50, but there were quite a few runners backed in this race. Why wouldn't there be when there was only 100% given? And then we got to race 7, and as I say, this is when the track started to weave its or change its character, and Royal Descent was just trucking behind them coming to the turn. It led more than Sacred, one of the New Zealanders, the rider saying that it didn't handle the clockwise going, and also didn't handle the conditions. And the other New Zealander, Summer Bliss, it was very disappointing as well. Dear Demi finished up, it was held up in the run, got a bit of a check, but it came from well back, ran an improved race from what it's been doing its last few runs. The favourite, Habibi, well, the captains reached for it. We only put it up a $2.80 chance of Habibi. It was quickly reached for. Every time you went to wind it out, There was not someone, if you looked around the ring, there was someone, another captain, who was always seen to be a longer price than I did. And at one stage, I did see as much as $4.40 about this runner. So it was $2.80 out to $4.40 a BB really reached for. The captains knew, they knew it wouldn't be getting the cash. And it got into, it only started $3.80 by the same token. But it sat back in the field in third last position. It finished up running fourth, beaten a long way, 13.5 lengths. As I say, this winner just trotted in. He got up inside, runners still 3 and 4 off the fence, even if not a little bit further, turning for home. And when he gave it its head, it just raced right away, Royal Descent, and the margin, as I say again, was 10 lengths. I'd like to see what price they put it up if that race was run again. What price would you take? Then we came to the Doncaster, race 8, the second last, and as I was saying earlier on, the track now, all of a sudden, it was an advantage, believe it or not, to come along the fence, and it was runners who got trapped wide in the run, one being the stablemate to the winner, and that was Red Tracer. It had the extreme outside alley. It got trapped wide in the run, and where did it finish? It finished back past midfield, and it was, as I say, an advantage to be on the fence. Piero had that in his favour, sliding through from. It led Monton with Norzita, the 3-year-old on the south side. They didn't want to ride it that close, but when it got up outside the lead that easy, they said, why not stay here, which was the right thing to do. And it ran second. Sitting 3 wide all the way was Streamer from an outside alley. Red Tracer, as I said, was wide, but the fence along Piero went around. Piero had got around, or had got up along the fence, or whatever it had done, around Monton, and it got up inside them. But getting inside, the favourite Piero was the other 3-year-old Sacred Falls, who was coming back from 2,000 to 1,600, and it finished a little bit too strong, beating it by 0.8 of a length, 3/4 of a length, and Norzita, the other 3-year-old, was beaten. It was beaten 3.8 by 1.6. Norzita running third, and then we came to the last, and you had to say to yourself that the fence now was the place to be after seeing the previous 2 races, and the favourite was always going to be close to it, and we did see it win their last start at Randwick, where it was very, very badly held up. I think I marked a 5-4 chance after it won last start. I repriced them after I taking everything into consideration, bias on the track and so forth. And I said when it won last start, if they ran that race again, it would have been a 5-4 chance. That's just my opinion. And anyway, it got the favours today. It sat back and had barrier 3 and got inside, as I said before, finish up not going around a horse. It led Merlin Mustang, the second horse who tailed it, Under the Sun. It went around it, whereas the winner got inside it and finished a little bit too good for Under the Sun. 0.2 of a length, 2.2 lengths away was the leader, getting, I suppose, by this time, repeating myself, the bias in its favour. Isn't it funny how these tracks are so fickle and they can change around? So that was about the meeting. There were, even with all the wet weather we had in the morning and the early start, the infield section of the track, which was going to have a lot of patrons, they closed that section, and so all those patrons were in the main enclosure in the paddock, and I said it was even though there were plenty of people in the betting ring, there was still plenty of room, and it's for big meetings. The new grandstand seems to be doing the right thing by everybody. So that was about the meeting. We've got to go to Gosford tomorrow, so I will talk to you during the week. Good evening.